Hello, lovely ally people. Nick Stephenson here. Big thank you for having me on to present to you guys today as part of this summit. And we're going to be focusing today all about the top 5 strategies you can use to get your first 500 subscribers in as little as 1 week. And the reason I like talking about this topic is there's so much information out there these days about author marketing and advice and growing an audience, and there's a million different tactics you could be trying out. And I hear about this from people all the time who email in and they say, I've done X, Y, Z, A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3 today, and then tomorrow I'm doing a whole bunch of other random things to try and boost my exposure. And the problem is when you're trying to do 500 different tactics, the problem is you very, very quickly get overwhelmed. And the downside is a lot of them don't really work and aren't that effective. So what I want to do today is talk about those top 5 strategies. So the ones that I know get really good results in terms of getting readers onto your platform and helping you get more sales and more exposure. So this isn't going to be like a top 100 list of random stuff. This is 5 very specific, very straightforward to implement things that aren't going to cost you a huge amount of money, or in some cases any money at all, to implement. And most importantly, they're very fast and you'll start seeing results very, very quickly. So that's what we're talking about today. So you are absolutely in the right place if you're an author, of course, but also some love for those aspiring authors who, you might be starting your first book now. You might be halfway through. You might have just finished your first book, or maybe you finished your first book years ago and it's been sat kind of in a digital drawer collecting dust. Well, no matter, we will get you sorted. This is absolutely a good fit for you. And you want to build an audience, of course. You've got these books. You need people to read them. So building that audience is very, very important, but you don't know where to start. Or maybe, like I said a minute ago, you're frustrated because everyone's telling you all about these random tactics they've been doing, and you don't know, A, what's going to work for you, and B, where to put all your attention. And you've been trying to build up your audience and your sales for a while. Maybe that's you, but things aren't going as well as you'd hoped. Okay, don't worry. Most importantly, though, you like simple and effective strategies that you can implement quickly and start seeing results. So I'm not going to be talking to you about some crazy complicated pixel tracking funnel with different segmentation rules and autoresponders and all kinds of behavior management. I'm not going to be talking to you about investing $10,000 a month in different remarketing campaigns, although I am more than happy to talk to you about all that stuff in private for the cost of a pint of beer. So if you're ever in England, please feel free to look me up and I will talk your head off. But that's not what today is all about, because we want simple and easy and effective things that are actually going to work. Okay, so this is what we're going to cover. As I said, 5 very simple and easy to implement strategies. Goal being attract new readers, get them signed up onto your platform. So in this case, your email list. Tell you why in a minute. And then we can use that email list to build your exposure and sell your books long term. So whenever you have a new release coming up, your email list will buy it. Whenever you want to run a promotion on your existing books, your email list is going to be the first place you turn. Okay, so that's what we're going to be building up. I'm going to give you step-by-step examples of how to set everything up. Best I can, of course. I think we've got about an hour or so today, so I'm not going to be able to jump into the minutiae of everything, but I'll be able to give you a quick overview of what you should be focusing on. So I'll show you the best tools out there, give you some free examples, so ones where you don't have to pay anything to use them, and some premium ones as well, because there's definitely some pros and cons for each of those, so you can choose what works best for you. And I've got some goodies as well, so lots of extra training material, blog posts, articles, workshops, software free trials, and all that lovely stuff, meaning that you can actually take what we're talking about today, download the slides, hopefully there's a link underneath this video, take everything away, sit down, get to work, and start seeing results in as little as 7 days. And it is totally possible to start getting those subscribers in straight away and get those first 500 people or your next 500 people signed up onto your email list within 7 days. Obviously, your results will vary, but it is definitely possible. And some people have even done better than that, and we'll talk about that a bit later on. So first of all, who am I? Well, my name is Nick Stephenson. I'm a non-fiction author as well. I'm a course creator, co-founder of a software company, father to 3 tiny little demons. And I've been doing this for a while now. So I published my first novel in 2013. That was Panic, which is actually now the second book in the series. It moves around. Published 5 more over the following 2 years. And the thing for me is, when sales were doing badly, it was depressing. And when sales were doing really well, which eventually they were, it was very stressful because I'd be looking at my KDP sales graph, the Kindle sales graph, in the morning, and I'd dread it because the day before, I'd hit or I'd exceeded my daily sales goals and I was happy, but I'd go to bed worrying that I would wake up and it would all be gone because, well, I wasn't controlling those sales. I wasn't really having much influence over how my books were being viewed, what exposure they had, who was buying them, who was viewing them. It was all down to Amazon and the other stores kind of treating me nicely in a way, and that's kind of on their whim. So I didn't have any control. It was very stressful for me because I would wake up and the first thing I'd do is go and check my sales graph and breathe a sigh of relief. And it's like, that's it, my stressful night's over, I don't have to worry, life isn't falling to pieces. And I discovered that I hated that, as you can imagine, relying on other people, well, mostly Amazon in this case, to kind of promote my business. I didn't want to have full control over my livelihood in the hands of someone else. So I wanted to do something about that. And the short version of the story is I studied other businesses like BookBub, online marketers, other businesses in different sectors and niches, and had a look at what made those successful businesses work, and then kind of put on my mad scientist hat and applied it to my business, because you can't always just copy and paste something, especially if it's in a different industry. But you can take the principles, and that's the important thing, taking those principles and applying them to your business. And I grew my book sales to 6 figures within a couple of years, which was fantastic. And then in 2015, I decided to shift my focus to teaching other authors, which is something that I enjoyed even more than writing fiction. So that's what I do now. I'm the traveling author advice guy who turns up to ally summits like this one and talks to you about marketing. So that's kind of my bag now. And I created my training program, Your First 10,000 Readers, amongst others. And I've helped over 80,000 authors and entrepreneurs and authorpreneurs, help them grow their business and their careers as well. Key thing, using books. And the strategies I'm teaching today, this is what I teach my students, this is what I tell everybody to do, and it's what I used and still use today in my course business and my book business and software business, in everything, and how I've grown that to over 7 figures a year. And you can totally steal them. That's the whole plan for today, and apply them to your business, because as you can see, my fiction books are thrillers, non-fiction. I teach authors. Chances are you don't write in those niches, but that's fine because these principles apply to pretty much anything. The key thing is the principles and applying them. So we're going to jump in, but first thing I want to just deal with a little bit of myth busting, because this is a bit of a pervasive problem, and I see this in forums, on Facebook and blog comments, and it drives me mad. Because this advice that I'm hearing is the best marketing is writing your next book. And it doesn't sit well with me because, well, first of all, writing a book isn't marketing. So any marketing professionals out there can attest to that. But the other thing is, when we're talking about books, a product, if you don't have anyone to sell it to, if you don't have an audience, who's going to read them? Who's going to buy them? Think about a high street store. It's an example I've got on there. But, let's take a bookstore, Barnes & Noble, or Borders, which closed down. Huge, huge problems. They didn't have any customers. They didn't have enough customers. Their solution was not to buy more stock. Okay, it's kind of the same thing. If people are saying, my books aren't selling, and their advice from other people is, well, just write more, that's kind of just hoping for the best, isn't it? That's not really a strategy. That's just kind of hoping that people will find you. And that's not really what we want to do. We want some strategies that are designed to get people to notice you and sign up to your platform. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to help with your books. Now, writing more books can and does absolutely help. Yes, it does, but you need an audience to market and sell to first, and that's what we're talking about today. So my promise, as I mentioned, these strategies, it's not theory. This is stuff that actually does work, is working, that I teach to my students and everyone who follows me and anyone I can get the attention of, basically. They're not going to be complicated, expensive, or scammy. We're not going to be talking about, ways to trick KDP or ways to get extra, page reads by scamming this and the other. Blech, don't want any of that. Everything I show you is proven to work. It's cost effective, straightforward to get set up, and we'll start giving you results pretty much instantly. And we hear from Joanna Penn. Is very prolific nonfiction and fiction author, big blogger as well. With the advice we're talking about today, she's been using this, parts of this in her business as well, for her fiction and nonfiction business, and she's had a huge improvement. Fan base tripled within a few weeks of using it. Conversion rates on her website improved as well, so there's some good results from Joanna there. Same with Russell Blake. We did some work with a launch of one of his books, and we used the process I'm going to show you a bit later on today to do that as well. And this was a very expensive book in terms of indie pricing, and it did incredibly well. Some great news as well from Abraham Ford, who's a nonfiction author, getting lots and lots of daily signups, which is fantastic. And Justin Johnson, who is a children's author, has had some fantastic results as well. But this isn't all about them. This is about you. And this is what we're going to be covering today. So the top 5 strategies. Number 1, reader magnets. You may have heard of them. We're going to go through those quickly. It's very important. Number 2, joint promotions. Number 3, giveaways. Number 4, merchandising. Number 5, scaling all that good stuff up with paid promotion. And don't worry, I'm not going to go crazy making you spend thousands of dollars. This is just stuff that we want to use to scale up profitably. Key thing being scale up, just good, profitably good. No point scaling up if it's not making you money. So that's what we're going to talk about. And a few extras as well. We're going to be talking about a launch plan. So putting all this into place is going to start building you an email list. That's going to be all about how to use that mailing list for your launches and your promotions. And then my kind of ultimate tech guide of awesome, including some free and premium tools. So I'm going to talk to you about the principles. I'm going to show you some specific tools you can use to get all this set up quickly and painlessly. So that's what's on the menu today. So the first one is reader magnets. Now, chances are you've heard the term somewhere. You're either using them or you've heard of them. Maybe you haven't heard of them. That's fine. I'm going to show you what it means. But it's a term that I invented back in 2015. Now everybody's kind of using it, which is fantastic because it's kind of stuck. But if you're not using it or you haven't heard of it, or if you need a little breakdown, refresher of how it works, we're going to go through this very, very quickly because it's incredibly important. It's kind of like the cornerstone of most of what's going to happen next. So it builds upon this, and this is a very important kind of piece of the puzzle. Okay, so reader magnets. Okay, the idea behind this is most new readers, people who probably don't know who you are yet, are going to find you on Amazon or the other bookstores, mostly Amazon. And this is great, but the problem is the bookstores aren't going to give you any data about your customers. So remember my story earlier, coming down in the morning, panicking, breathing that sigh of relief because, oh, my sales are still there. They haven't been taken away from me. That's because Amazon and the other stores are a closed system. It's their kind of business. They don't have to share it with you. That's fine, but it doesn't help you much. Okay, so if someone downloads or buys a book of yours, you don't know who that is. You can't contact them in the future to tell them about your other books. And it's a huge missed opportunity. Obviously it's in Amazon's interest to do this. I'm not complaining about Amazon, it's perfectly within their rights, but I want to focus on what's best for you. So what we want to do is get readers off Amazon or the other stores and onto a platform you control, meaning you can follow up with them. Nobody can take that away from you. No one can reduce your reach. Like Facebook, just randomly changing their algorithms. Bye-bye business. All gone. So ultimately, we want to be able to get those readers onto an email list. Okay, so a database of email addresses that have been collected with permission and consent, important thing, so that you can sell to them later when the time is right. And if you don't have an email list yet, don't worry. We'll show you how to set all that up a little bit later on as well. So key point of how this works is a reader will find your book on Amazon and the other stores. Okay, inside your book is an invitation to join your readers group or your email list or your newsletter in exchange for a free gift. And the free gift, usually the next book in your series, if you write in a series, or another book from your catalog, if you don't write in a series. Some people write a short story just for this, or a novella, or something even shorter, like a character study, or anything that's relevant to what you write about. So if you write fiction, a short story featuring the same characters, incredibly powerful. Next book in the series is the best thing you can offer. Not everybody has that available, though. That's fine. Non-fiction, cheat sheets, video walkthroughs, audio versions, anything that's valuable and relevant to your reader is going to be perfect. And the key is we're going to require them to sign up to your newsletter and get their consent to send emails to them in order to get it. And I'll give you some examples of that in a second as well. So I've had some examples already. It could be anything. I mean, an author friend of mine who also writes thrillers, he used a character background sheet on one of his spy thrillers. So he designed like a PDF, like a manila secret agent folder, and did like a redacted text kind of character study, like a character history of this spy character, sort of like an MI6 redacted, personnel file, which was very, very cool. And that took a couple of hours, and that was great as well. But really, your imagination is the limit here. Key thing is, if you're offering something, make sure it's valuable and relevant as well. And if you're offering another book in your series, you can still sell that book as well. So if you've got, the next book in your series is $4.99, you can say to readers, you can buy it for $4.99 or join my readers group, and I'll give it to you as a free gift. So it's really kind of making that value very, very clear. So what happens next then? So your book's up there on Amazon. Inside your book, there's this graphic, like in the picture there, and you can see it's like an advert. Free download, click here to get started. And that's pretty much it, really. So you put that graphic into the front and the back of your book, and then people click to that link to go down to a what we call a landing page, where they will sign up to get this book in exchange for their email address, and then your email service will automatically send them a welcome email, which contains a link where they can go download this free book. Okay, don't worry if you don't know how all this fits together with the technology. I will show you a little bit later on. It's very, very simple. Don't worry. So the result is you now have the contact details for a reader who has demonstrably proved that they like you, because no one's going to join your list to get a free book and dedicate 8 to 12 hours of reading if they don't like you, okay? So this is kind of like an automatic way of just filtering out the bad people and keeping the good ones, okay? And, these people, you would never have their contact details otherwise. So when someone's downloading your book, a proportion of them are going to sign up, which means that you have the opportunity to contact them in future. When your next book's ready, or you want to run a promotion, that audience, that built-in audience is already there, and they already have shown that they like you. So that's perfect. And then we can scale this up as well. So you might be saying, okay, that's all well and good, but how do I get people to see my book in the first place? Okay, don't worry, we're going to get to that as well. So we want to scale that up. The more people who see your book, the more people are going to see that Reader Magnet advert. Okay, and generally I've seen, for a well put together Reader Magnet offer, the sign-up rate is anywhere between 3 and 10% of people who download the book. All right, so if you have 100 free downloads a day, you can expect between 3 and 10 people to sign up to your mailing list. Doesn't sound like a huge amount, but that can be scaled up a lot further, and those percentages can be improved. Okay, the more people you have on your email list, the more revenue you will make long term. So the more people who see your sign-up offer, the more people are going to be joining your list. And remember, this all happens in the background and it builds up over time. So a very easy way to scale this up is with free books. I love free books. Free books are fantastic because they generate more traffic, okay, up to 155 times more than paid books. So even compared to a 99-cent book, the ratio is huge. Free books are being downloaded many, many more times, viewed more times than paid ones, okay? So, example, if you're making one sale a day, you can get 155 free downloads a day instead. Obviously, you don't get the money from the sale, but you are getting the traffic, and you are going to build that email list faster, which means more revenue for you in the future, which is why I like to recommend using a permanently free book on Amazon. And this means that you've got your book published on Kobo and Nook and iTunes and all the other places at $0, and Amazon have price matched it. And you can email KDP support and ask them to do this, and they should do it for you within a couple of days. And the main thing here then is that if you're getting, let's say, let's go to the bottom end and say 3% of people who download your book will sign up, okay? With a free book, instead of getting one person a month on your mailing list, you're getting 150 people a month. Or if you've got a fantastic reader magnet offer, if you're in a popular genre and it's well put together, and maybe you're getting a 10% conversion rate, which is fantastic, that 3 people a month who would sign up if your book was a paid book becomes 450 people a month. So huge improvement. And like I said, the money is in the list. So you're sacrificing revenue now to make more revenue later. And little free bonus, having some free books can also help boost the visibility of your other paid books as well. So remember, this is all about the long term. So it's a very simple, effective way to get readers kind of set up off Amazon and onto your mailing list, okay? Start seeing results very, very quickly, and the more downloads that you get, the more email subscribers you will have, all working in the background. Now, there's a link there. Go check out my ebook called, quite usefully, Reader Magnets, which will walk you through all the specific steps, okay? And just to give you a quick view, we'll come out of here, and I'll show you what this looks like in the wild. Okay, so here's my permanently free book, Wanted, Leopold Blake, up to just over 1,000 reviews at the moment. You can see it's in the free store. It's about number 300 in the free store, so it's quite, doing quite well at the moment. It hasn't been promoted in a little while, but it's still hanging on there. So it's in the top 10 for these major categories here. So it's getting some good traction. The key thing though is inside the book, when you open it up, you will see my big graphic here. So get your free book when you join my readers list. So people can click on this either from the look inside like I just did, or after they've downloaded it. They're going to a landing page. This is one of the landing pages I use. There's a few others, which I will show you. Very simple. You can see there's no links up here. These don't go anywhere. If I click them, nothing happens. The only thing people can do on this page is either sign up by clicking this link and entering their email address, or leave. So as a result, it's got a really high conversion rate. It's like 60 or 70% conversion rate, which is very, very high. And after someone enters their email address, it will take them to a thank you page. They'll get an automatic email with a link where they can go download the book. And that's pretty much it. It's not too complicated. And it's incredibly powerful. So if you're not using reader magnets, highly recommend that you go check out that ebook, that link there, and it will show you how to do it. And I think we'll try and get the slides for you in a PDF so that all these links are in one place. So that's kind of the cornerstone of our audience building. The first step, the first piece of the puzzle, and the rest is going to kind of build on that and scale it up and really get that working harder for you. So number 2, and it's a great way of scaling up, is joint promotions. And I love joint promotions. They're fantastic. Because we want to get as many sales, as many readers as possible, and that's going to depend on the size and the quality of your email list, okay, which means more traffic. You can get more traffic, you can get more subscribers, you can get more sales, which is why I like free books. Now, a really easy way to really double, triple, maybe quadruple your audience pretty much instantly is teaming up with other authors. So imagine, you've built up 100 people on your list, or 1,000 or 5,000, however many. If you can find 3 other authors with a similar reach to you, you've just quadrupled your audience. Easy. Happened overnight. And the great thing is you can reciprocate and you can team up to run promotions. So, in 1 week we could promote your book, and then the next week it's someone else's turn. So as long as you're teaming up with the right people, this can be extremely powerful. Okay, so finding someone with a similar reach to you and running some kind of joint giveaway, maybe with a prize like a sweepstake, or maybe it's a cross promotion, like you take it in turns to promote each other's books, or a joint promotion, maybe you're promoting everyone's books at the same time. It doesn't matter what it is, but the key thing is you want to send people to your book page either on Amazon or a special page that you've set up on your website where people can join your mailing list. Okay, you could even team up to do a box set or an anthology, and lots of people do this so that they can team up and hit the bestseller list. So you see those anthologies of 27 different books. They hit they hit the USA Today bestseller list and other bestseller lists because all of those 27 different authors are all emailing and promoting about it at the same time, which means lots more sales. So you want to do something similar to that. So some results from joint promotions. So Charlene Wilson used joint promotions to hit the USA Today list with box sets. Elizabeth Bailey grew her list from a couple of hundred people to 4,000 people using cross promotions and joint promotions, where it's emailing out about each other's books. KL boosted her list by 500 to 700 new readers each time she does a joint giveaway and teams up with people. And other people as well, getting some great results. Doesn't cost you anything to do. And it's a very simple process to actually get started. Because you can find other authors. First place to look is on your similar authors list on your Amazon page. There it is. You can find them. Or by finding people on social media, email, Facebook groups, or InstaFreebie is a great one. InstaFreebie.com. It kind of specializes in this. Reaching out to them, offering value, and explaining what the process is. Now, going through exactly how to do that, a little bit beyond the scope of this session. We could go on about it for hours. But I have a blog post you can go read, which will take you through all the different options and all the different processes to put into place. Free to read over at blog.yourfirst10kreaders.com. The link there. Hopefully, we'll get a download PDF for you as well, where you'll find the link to. So go read that, and it'll take you through all those different steps. But the key thing to remember is, it's very easy to sort of double or triple or more your exposure and your audience just by teaming up with the right people. And we have our own kind of private community called the Dream Team Network, where we do a very similar thing, and we get people teamed up together and help them run these promotions because they're incredibly powerful when you get them right. So it's very cool. So joint promotions, very useful. So check out those resources. Another one as well is giveaways, okay? And also known as a sweepstake. This is where we're offering some kind of prize to entrants, and the winner is chosen at random. Now, this does sometimes get some bad press. People sign up for a giveaway of some sort and they end up getting massively spammed, which is not what we want to do. Okay, we only want to keep the best people. We only want to market people who have given us express consent to do so. And we don't want to build up a database of kind of tire kickers or spammy people. And we don't want to ruin our own reputation either. So the way that you run a giveaway is incredibly important because they can get a huge amount of traffic and sign-up. So the way that we deal with them is very, very important. First thing, of course, is choosing the right prize. So if we're running a contest, a sweepstake, where a winner is chosen at random, the first thing we have to decide is what's the prize going to be. Now, it's very tempting just to say $100 gift voucher or something, or cash or whatever. But we don't want to do that because that's just going to attract the wrong kind of people. We want to offer a prize that your readers want, okay, but that random people don't. So if you're a romance writer, it could be a Kindle e-reader with some romance books loaded onto it, or hardcover sets, or signed copies of some famous authors' books or something. Whatever it is, related to your niche or your genre, and something that not the whole world doesn't want it, but your key readers do. So don't offer cash, okay? We want to attract readers. That's the key thing. And when someone enters and entered they shall, you will need to send them a confirmation email to say thank you for entering. Here's what's happening. You will need to update them throughout the course of the giveaway. And if it's running for a few weeks, you may want to send 1 or 2 updates about it. And then you want to announce the winner as well. Okay, at this point, you're not marketing to anyone. You're just fulfilling your duties to tell them about the giveaway. But in these emails, what you want to do is ask your entrants to opt in to your email list, again, in return for your reader magnet. So remember that from the beginning. This is another reason why we want a reader magnet, okay? Have that landing page, send your entrants there, okay? And they will opt in to your main newsletter in return for that book. And those who opt in, fantastic. You can keep them. Those who don't, at the end of the giveaway, delete their data. Get rid of them. Don't keep it, because we don't want them. Potentially illegal to keep them anyway, so please get rid of them. So to do this then, we recommend a tool called King Sumo Giveaways. It's something that I personally use, which adds not just the ability to collect all the email addresses and choose people at random and have your pages set up and everything, but adds something called viral sharing, which is very powerful. And this is basically where the software will award entrants extra points, so extra chances of winning, if they share the giveaway with their friends, like on Twitter and Facebook, okay? And we've seen this add roughly 30% to our results, so it's very, very useful to have. Now, King Sumo is a premium tool, and there are other premium tools like UpViral, Rafflecopter, which also have sharing features, so any of those will work. If you don't want to go down the paid route, there are free tools. Rafflecopter has a free one as well. You won't get viral sharing with the free version, but it will still work, so it will still be effective. Now, this is an example of one giveaway page that we made for King Sumo giveaways. We were offering a Kindle Voyage that was loaded with some of my books. So the idea is we were attracting people who like to read. They entered, and we sent them emails saying, if you'd like to stay in touch with us after the giveaway has ended, just go and get yourself a free copy of this book. And we kept those people. And we ended up with around 16,000 people entering the giveaway, and we kept about 5,000 people after that. So that was incredibly powerful. So we grew our list by 16,000. We filtered out the people we didn't want there, and then we built that up over time. So it's something that's very easy to do once it's set up. Once it's up and running, what you can do is go to some giveaway directory sites. And a good one is if you just go to Google and search for giveaway directory, you will find hundreds of sites where you can list your sweepstake or your giveaway, which will get lots and lots of attention, meaning lots and lots of people are going to enter, and then you have a system in place with your reader magnet to filter out the ones who aren't interested in getting any marketing or emails from you and keep the good ones. Now, other legal requirements, okay, they vary by country. I know Canada and Japan, I believe, have particular rules, and other places do as well. But if you're using giveaway software, generally, like King Sumo, Rafflecopter, they tend to have these sort of terms and legal things built in. But double check if you're not sure. But the main thing is, giveaway has to be free to enter. No purchase is required. And if you're ever going to send a marketing email to them, a marketing email as in, you're not just emailing them about the results of the giveaway, which is fine, but a marketing email about your other books, for example, you need to get consent, which is why we ask people to opt in for your reader magnet before we send them anything promotional. And those are the main things. It's not too hard to set up, and there is a small outlay for the software if you want to use the premium version. You will have to pay for a prize. Kindle Paperwhite's about $100, I think, a little bit more maybe, but that's about all you'll spend. And we found that after we culled sort of non-responsive people from our list after doing these, the people we ended up with, it worked out at about 13 cents per lead, which if you've ever done paid advertising, will know is incredibly cheap, 1/5 of the cost of a lot of places. So it's incredibly cost effective, and you can run these as often as you like. And again, with these giveaways, you can team up with other people, like we said, in joint promotions, and you can run these sort of shared giveaways as well, as long as you're making sure that anyone who ends up on your list afterwards has expressly opted in to you. So no sharing of lists, please. But joining up with other people is an incredibly powerful way to boost this too. Now, number 4. This is what we call merchandising. And if you've ever wondered how people can get their books onto the front page of Amazon or Kobo or iTunes or the other stores, it's all about what we call merchandising, which is where a retailer runs a featured deal or promotion on one of their front pages and features your book, which obviously leads to lots of extra exposure. And if you've got reader magnets in your books, lots of extra email subscribers as well. The key to getting this is all about relationships. I wish I could tell you there was some kind of magic algorithm or button or trick you could pull to get guaranteed merchandising, but there isn't. But that's fine, because that just means there's fewer people using it. So you get the edge. So what you want to do is talk about relationships. It's all about reciprocity and building relationships with people. So you need to get the ear of the people who are responsible for making these decisions, who gets featured. A couple of specific tips. With Kobo, we have a fantastic merchandising program, very, very good. You can actually sign up to be featured in their sort of promoted deals inside your author dashboard. So when you sign into Kobo Writing Life, which is their platform for publishing, you can sign up to be part of their featured deals. Okay, so you have to be published direct through Kobo. So if you're using a distributor like Draft to Digital or Smashwords, it doesn't work. You have to be kind of directly published with them. And I believe that's more to do with their accounting than any particular dislike of that. But yeah, that's quite an easy way to do it. On the opposite side, with iTunes, it's actually a lot easier to get merchandising if you are using a distributor. So just to make life complicated, Draft to Digital are my favorite people. I love those guys, always recommend them. And they will actually distribute your book and publish it via a multitude of different stores. But in particular, iTunes, they actually have a team at Draft to Digital where they recommend curated books to iTunes, and they can often get yours featured. So you can imagine the difference between trying to talk to someone at Apple and trying to talk to someone at Draft to Digital. You can imagine which one's easier. So D2D is the way to go for that. For Amazon, a bit different, a bit harder. There's no kind of automatic foot in the door, but there are almost always KDP reps at author conventions and gatherings. So I wouldn't say they'd be at the pub, but there are people there at the conventions and the talks. So if you can get their contact details, that's a foot in the door. And I've, of course, got a full video session for you on how to cold contact any VIP. So there's a link there, yourfirst10kreaders.com/how to reach any VIP with dashes. You can see the link there if you're watching this on the screen, or you can download the slides underneath for that link. That's about an hour long with a friend of mine called John Corcoran, and he will talk you through how to build relationships from scratch via email. So if you've got someone's business card, or you've got an email address that's publicly posted and you want to use that, you've got permission to contact them, go ahead and use that. This is a great way of building those relationships and moving towards merchandising. But certainly in the meantime, you can get straight into Kobo, and you can use Draft to Digital to get into iTunes as well. They have a lot of kind of first in series free promotions and different themed promotions going on. And if you use D2D, which is my shorthand, because Draft Digital is quite hard to say, you can really get a foot in the door there as well. And this can make a huge difference. We're talking about hundreds of sales a month at least, and lots of email subscribers as well. So it's very, very worth putting the work in. Now, those are kind of the first four have all kind of been about setting the stage and building up kind of like a bit of a system that works behind the scenes. So you probably noticed, we started off with reader magnets, which is kind of an infrastructure kind of thing. And then everything since then has all been about scaling things up. Because you've got this reader magnet built in, the more traffic you get, the more subscribers you're going to get. Okay, which is great, very scalable. More subscribers equals more sales for your launches and promotions. Okay, and those first four I talked to you about, reader magnets, joint promotions, giveaways, and merchandising, they are, definitely you can get your first 500 subscribers pretty quickly with these. And especially if you've got reader magnets set up, that's kind of a prerequisite. And if you're doing joint promotions especially, joint promotions are very easy to set up, very quick. That's certainly possible. And we have had people, getting 500 subscribers with just one joint promotion. Very simple. Some people are getting thousands, and some people have done that in a week. Results vary, but it's definitely very, very possible with just those first four. Long term, and if you want to scale up beyond that, you are going to need to invest some budget in advertising, because this is all about building up consistent results over time, profitably, of course, making money. So the good news is you don't have to and shouldn't spend huge amounts of money to move the needle, especially when you're getting started. So with paid advertising, you can start off very, very small, build it up, and see that return on your investment. So we're going to talk about two types of paid promotion. The first is what I call email blasts, where essentially you are paying a fee, a set fee, to get featured in a company's email that goes out to a large database of readers in your genre. And we're also talking about display advertising as well, which could be referred to as CPM or CPC ads, where a call to action like, click here to get my book or click here for this appears on a website. So maybe you're scrolling through a website and you see an ad, or you're on Facebook or Instagram and you see an ad. Those are display advertising, and you can control those. So there's tons of options out there. I'm going to tell you the most effective one. So for email blasts, you may have heard of BookBub. BookBub.com is still the most effective option by a long shot, but it's very hard to get into. They are massively oversubscribed and expensive. So, one ad could cost you $500 to $1,200. You tend to make your money back on it, but it's expensive. You might not have that money to spend right now, and that's fine. But rotating through some of the other smaller services is something you can do each month, or several times a month. It's up to you. So they're very simple to set up. Big pro there. Very simple to set up. You pretty much just find a company who runs these services, and they're different for different genres. There's hundreds of them out there. And you just give them a link to your book, and they will set everything up. Downside, it's quite hard to schedule consistently, okay? Because you're not going to get a guaranteed date. You're going to have to fit in with their schedule. You might not get in every month. You can't really scale it up much. Some services aren't as good as others. So it's one extra way of getting extra readers, but you have to kind of manage it a bit and plan ahead. And there's a big list of good recommended websites that you can find at the link at the bottom of this slide as well. So go and check out that page. There's a list of dozens and dozens of different ones with a little commentary on there so that you can see which ones you might want to approach. And this is, one part of your advertising is going to be using these email blasts, because they can be very effective when used correctly. And the other one is display ads. Okay, and these are the main ones you're going to use here will be Amazon's AMS ads, which is Amazon Marketing Services ads, Facebook ads, and again, BookBub show up again. Now, there's a picture on the right-hand side there of an AMS ad, and this is a small ad that you can get to show up on Amazon on the page, either in a keyword search. So when someone's searching on Amazon for something, you'll see some related and sponsored books. I'll give you an example over here. Let's go back into the wild again, back onto Amazon. So if I'm searching for, let's see, thrillers. Here we go. Let that load. We've got some sponsored results up here. Okay, so you can get your books up there as well. And there's usually some sponsored results on different areas of the page here. And the other place, as I said, you can see one on my book page here. The other one is the product display ads here. So they turn up on my page and they try to steal readers from me. But there they are. There's one down here, and there's one just by where the buy button would be. So those are the two options with the Amazon AMS ads. Okay, so that's all done through your KDP dashboard. Pretty simple to walk through. Again, we can talk about that in more detail in a different session. But that's the key thing there, and I'll make sure I've got some resources for you so you can go check that out. The other one is Facebook ads. I'm sure you all heard of Facebook ads, where you can laser target people based on specific criteria. So maybe you want to target people who like a certain author's page. So maybe I want to target people who like Jeffrey Deaver or who like James Patterson. I can do that on Facebook. I can also send ads to people who have visited my website in the last few months as well, which is very, very cool. And again, you can set your budget there, a couple of dollars a day to get started with all of these so that you can see what kind of results might scale up. And then BookBub display ads. So these guys, they have their featured deals, which is the one we had before, where you have to apply, pay lots of money, but very effective. The display ads are a bit more like Facebook ads or AMS ads. And you can log into your BookBub advertising dashboard, and you can then run ads based on similar authors, or related authors or genre. And then these ads will feature in the BookBub emails kind of at the bottom, like a little ad at the bottom. And you can set your budget and your exposure there as well through BookBub. And those as well can be very effective if you start off small, test out a few different targeting options, and then start scaling it up over time. So obvious pros for these is you can laser target your audience. As I said, you can remarket to people as well. So if you install a tracking pixel on your site, you can then see who's coming to visit you and then send Facebook ads to them, which is cool. It's like, hey, you didn't download your free book, come back and get it. Cons, a lot of people approach this blind, stick a load of money in it and end up losing it and then get very upset, which is understandable. So you need to have a strategy. Okay, and while we don't have time to go through all that now, I mean, going through each one of those different options would take an hour by itself. It's worth factoring these in to your overall marketing plan. Okay, the key thing, you want to be using the first 4 strategies first, especially reader magnets, because then you'll have that infrastructure and that initial scale to start building that up over time and really improving your scale with paid promotions. Okay, the key is having that audience building system in place first, so that you're not wasting money. Okay, and starting off small and building that up over time. And again, we can't cover all the specifics in this session, but I'll make sure you get some more resources where you can check that out a little bit later. Which is time now to move on to the little extra goodies. Okay, I said I was going to talk to you about how to build up a launch plan and how to set all this stuff up as well. So we've talked about reader magnets, talked about joint promotions, giveaways, merchandising, and paid advertising as well. Each of these 5 things are incredibly effective and should be part of your marketing mix when you're first getting started. And if you're not using all 5 of these, I highly recommend that you go and implement them today and look back over the slides and have a look at the extra resources I've got for you if you need a bit more of a helping hand. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about now, how to use this, building up your list using those 5 strategies, building up your exposure. How are we going to use your email list for your next launch or promotion? Okay, now remember, how we said, your launch success, the number of books you sell on launch day, is going to be directly proportional to how many people know about it. Kind of a bit of a duh moment, but the more people on your list, the more sales you're going to make. Okay, so example on here on the right-hand side, this is from Ernie Dempsey from our private group. So he had his first 200 plus sales day after 4 years, and he's doing incredibly well. He recently, last year, I believe, quit his job. Is now a full-time author, so it's incredibly exciting for him. And it was all about building up that mailing list and building up that exposure over time. Okay, and you can use that email list to run a launch, just like Ernie did, just like lots of other people do as well. So if you've ever wondered, how do I launch a book? What do I do? You might know how to upload the book and it's there. Great, but how do I actually promote it and launch it? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to break this down, starting 2 months out. Lots of notice. So 2 months out, you're probably nearly finished your first draft, hopefully, or you have finished your first draft and you're going through edits. Now is the time to start recruiting your launch team. Okay, now if you're not doing this already, that is, your launch team is a special subgroup of people on your mailing list who are kind of like your super fans, your advocates, your street team. They're the people who love you and they're going to go out and give lots of good buzz and positive reviews for you. Now, you need to build this up over time, but the key thing is when people join your list, you can take a look back and see, who are the people who are most active, who are clicking the links, who have downloaded my reader magnet, who are clicking the emails, opening the emails, who are sending me emails, who are the active, engaged people. These are the people you want on your launch team. Now, you might start off with a launch team of 5 people or 500 people. Doesn't matter. It's always going to start off small. No one's born with a launch team. Key thing is targeting those engaged people. Okay, now what you want to do is find out who they are. And you can do this if you're using mailing list software like MailChimp or pretty much any of the others. You can find out who the engaged people are, email them, and said that you will give them an advanced review copy or an ARC, and ask that they leave an honest review on launch day in exchange. So to do this, set up a landing page. You might remember landing pages with the opt-in button, and have your launch team, actually go through the process of opting in. Don't just let them say yes. Get them to go opt in. Do something, even if it's just a little thing like entering your email address. Get them to do something to join your launch team. Okay, meaning you can then tag them in your email software. Or if you're using MailChimp, they'll be on a separate list. So your launch team list, your VIP launch team list. So they're kept separate, meaning you can contact them and not anyone else. And once they've signed up for your launch team, have one or two welcome emails go out to them to explain what's going to happen and how they can help. So you could say, welcome, thanks for joining my launch team. My next book, Jaws in Space, is launching in 2 months' time. I'm going to be sending you a ARC, and I'd love it if you could leave a review and then explain why it's so important, okay? Just so they know what's going to happen. So you're building your launch team. Hopefully, if you're not doing that already, you can get that started. Even if it's just a couple of people, it can make a big difference. So 4 weeks out, hopefully 4 weeks out, you're starting to put the finishing touches to some of the last few things on your book. Ideally, you want to have it kind of finished. Okay, so maybe you've not done the final check of all of the the front matter stuff, and maybe the covers needs a tweak or something, but generally it's going to be finished at this point, hopefully. And you're starting to look at getting it uploaded and having the final tweaks done, getting your paperback made, etc. If you're a bit more of a deadline freak like me and you leave it a bit more last minute, adjust as necessary. But let's say 4 weeks out, the book's pretty much ready. It's been edited, it's been proofread. Send it out to your launch team. Just explain that process again about leaving a review, and make it easy for them to download and install their file format of choice. So with an ebook, you can send out a Mobi file, which is an Amazon Kindle file, an EPUB file, which is an ebook file for anyone else. Amazon like to be special, or a PDF. Most people are going to want a Mobi or an EPUB so they can load it onto their e-reader. Okay, most people are going to want that. So it's sometimes a bit tricky to get them on there. So you need to have full instructions on how people can do this. I'll show you this in just a second. That's the key thing, though. Big hidden benefit, though, as well, is readers might catch any remaining typos or slips of the tongue or slips of the page, slips of the pixel, whatever you want to call it. They might catch any remaining ones, so that can be quite nice as well. So obviously you're not sending them a typo-ridden mess, because at this point it's probably been edited and proofread, but they may catch anything that everyone else has missed. So that's a nice little thing as well. Okay, so the book's gone out, people are downloading it, loading it, reading it. 2 weeks out now, it's getting closer. Just another quick reminder to your launch team, we're launching in 1 or 2 weeks. Make sure you've read the book. If you haven't read it, if you need some help getting it on your device, let me know. Treat these guys really well, make sure they're happy. Okay, that's 2 weeks out. And then all the business starts 1 week out, okay? This is the fun week. So this is what we call the pre-launch, okay? So we can't just launch it on launch day and expect a deluge of people. We need to get them warmed up, all right? So your mailing list, however big or small it might be, are going to need warming up. So during this week, you want to be sending out 2 to 5 emails explaining who the book is for. Okay, so if you enjoyed my previous book, this one's more of the same. Or if you enjoy, if you like James Patterson and James Bond or whoever, then you'll love this. Reveal the cover, give them the synopsis of the blurb. If your launch team have sent you any positive feedback, include that as well. One thing I've done is little behind the scenes details and a little cell phone photos of me typing away, or stories about things that happened while I was writing it. People tend to respond well to that. Key thing is details of your launch offer. Okay, there should always be a launch offer, meaning on launch week, over the first week or so, when the book's released, you want to be offering people a little incentive to go buy it now instead of waiting until later, because when people wait till later, they don't do it. So what you can do is you can offer a price discount. So most authors do this. They say, I'm going to launch it at 99 cents for the first week. And then from the second week onwards, it's going to be $4.99 or $5.99. That's a good incentive. Or B, you can offer an extra bonus that people can get. So maybe a extra short story or novella in the same series, or deleted scenes, or an audio version if you're feeling dynamic. Something like that. Use your imagination, but a little bonus that they can get when they join and when they buy now instead of later. You can even do both, price discount and the bonus, okay? But that's going to really beat those procrastinators and get them to buy now, and that can double your sales. Okay, that's incredibly important. If you do nothing else, you need to have some kind of launch offer, some kind of limited time launch week incentive, either a price discount or a bonus or both. Okay, and you need to explain this launch offer to your email list during this pre-launch week. So you need to emphasize that value that you're offering and emphasize that it's limited time. So give them the date that it's going to end. So I recommend saying the first 5 days of the launch or the first 7 days of the launch. Okay, really build those sales up during that period. And you will need to repeat it because people do tend to skim emails. Okay, so if you've got a launch offer that you need to explain, definitely do it a couple of times. And definitely a good idea, if you're sending out, let's say you're sending out 4 emails this week, the 4th one should be the night before the launch release, just getting people really warmed up for it. And then it's launch day, which is a very exciting day for everyone. And this is when all the fun stuff happens as well. So you want to email your launch team, get them to leave those reviews. Mention that you have got a launch offer, which means they can get a discount and bonuses if they'd like to pick up a published copy as well. So obviously they already have the copy you gave them, but if they love you, they're likely to buy another one as well, meaning their review is going to be verified. So if they've bought the book from Amazon, their review is going to be verified, which is quite nice as well. And then email the rest of your list and get them. This is a buy now email. Remind them about your launch offer and the time limit. Give them a link to the different stores and get them to go buy it. Don't be shy. You don't have to say, don't say something like, oh, my book's ready. It's really good. If you'd like to look at it, maybe you could, if you have time, just take a look over here and, there's a link if you really want to. You don't have to, but, have a look. Some people do that. I wouldn't. Say, my book's available. Here's my launch offer. Here's the deadline. Buy now. Here are the links. That's quite simple. The launch day email, very, very short, so don't worry too much. And then you've got another week's worth of fun as well. So the post-launch. So during that launch week, you'll want to chase your launch team at least once because not everyone is going to leave a review. So you want to maximize the number of people who do. One thing I like to do is offer a little, thank you to people who, send a review in. So if they leave a review and send you a screenshot, you can give them a personal thank you. I've done video thank yous before where everyone who's left a review on launch day, I've recorded a video and thanked them all by name, which people liked as well. You can't incentivize them though. You can't say, leave your review and I'll give you $5 or leave your review and I'll give you another free book. You can't do that. And you can't kind of punish either. So you can't say like, if you don't leave a review, I'm never going to give you a book again. You may want to do that, but never say it. You're not really allowed to incentivize them. Okay, so that's a key thing, Amazon's terms there. And okay, that's the launch team. You want to talk to them, but you'll also want to send another, 2 to 5 emails to the rest of your list about the launch as well. So you've already sent 1 email saying it's available now today. Go buy it. You want at least another 2, bringing the total launch week emails to 3. So you want that launch day email. Email 2, little reminder midweek. Good point to include those ARC reviews that have come in on the first day, really just boost that kind of social proof as well. And then email 3 is the last day. So the launch offer is closing tonight at midnight. Any procrastinators need to take action now because the discount and bonuses are going to go away tomorrow. And the first and last day of launch week, day 1 and 7, or day 1 and 5, are going to be the vast majority of your sales. So like 70% of your sales are going to be day 1 and day 7 or the last day. Okay, but you want to be able to try and keep a good ranking throughout the week as well because Amazon likes consistent sales over time. Okay, a big spike in downloads is great, gets you up the charts, but you don't stay there for too long. So if you can keep those sales coming in for a week, that's going to help you with the hot new releases. It's going to help you with exposure. It's going to help get those also boughts where you feature in the related products item as well. Having that up there is going to help you develop longer term visibility. So that's why I like to include email 2 as well. So for launch week, at least those 3 emails, and it does no harm to have more. In fact, it can help you if you have 5. But it's up to you. Some people don't like sending that many emails, but it definitely works. And believe me, readers don't mind. Now, if you're not sure what to put in your emails, check out our ultimate guide at the link here. Again, we'll have this slide as a PDF for you, so you have all the links in one place. But there is a great guide to what to put in your emails. Okay. Now, running these launches and promotions, as you've seen, isn't just about sending a random email saying your book's out. You need to build up that excitement over time in advance as well. And a quick note on pre-orders. So, if you're using pre-orders with Amazon, those pre-order sales don't count towards your ranking on launch day. Okay, so in some stores, all those sales, let's say you got 100 sales with pre-order, on launch day, those 100 sales all come through at once for the ranks. Doesn't happen on Amazon. So if your goal is to get a high rank, which I recommend, you're better off not doing a pre-order. Okay, so it's up to you, but I like to keep it simple. And unless you've got a real solid reason to use pre-orders, personally, I recommend that you skip them. Okay, but again, it is up to you. You should get at a higher kind of ranking level if you don't use them, but it is up to you. So we've been through that then. So we've been through using reader magnets, joint promotions, giveaways, merchandising, paid promotions, and we've used all of that lovely stuff to build up a launch team and a launch plan. That's fantastic. But how do we set everything up? Okay, so you've got that part nailed, but how do you actually go about setting it up? So a quick tech guide, I think, is going to be very helpful, because to make all this work, you're going to need a website. Another moment. You're going to need landing pages on that website as well, and a way to deliver ebooks. And you're going to need an email autoresponder to collect all those email addresses and send out those email campaigns. So starting with your website, there's lots of options for getting a website set up. Most of you watching this probably already have one, but I don't really recommend using kind of one of those free blog options, like Blogger or WordPress.com. Now, better than nothing, but they're extremely restrictive. Okay, now ideally, you want a website that you're hosting yourself, that you have full control over. And I recommend using a hosting provider, and we use DreamHost. There are many, many available out there, variable pricing. It's usually about $5 to $7 a month to kind of have that server space. And then you install WordPress software onto it yourself. There is other software you can use. WordPress is the most prolific. It's about 30% of the entire internet, I believe, is powered by WordPress, so it's extremely stable and it's extremely compatible with pretty much everything, and you can do anything you like with it. So WordPress is a very great thing to use, and most hosts like DreamHost, you can do it all in a few clicks. Okay, you go there, sign up for one of their plans, and they'll walk you through all the setup, and you'll be installed, ready to go in just a few minutes. So that's what I recommend you do, because once you've got that set up, you can then go and choose a theme, which is what your site looks like. And then start adding in your content. And I'll give you a theme recommendation in a minute, but more importantly, your website needs to have specific functions. Okay, it needs to have a call to action on the homepage. It needs to have landing pages. It needs to be able to display your books professionally. It needs to be able to provide ebook delivery for those reader magnets. Giving those books away, you need readers to be able to go get them. And it needs to hook up to your email autoresponder as well. So you don't know what I mean by a call to action on the homepage. I'll show you an example up here. So my website for Leopold Blake, here it is. This is the homepage. This here is the call to action. So it's all about what the reader wants. Some people will put, their bio up here or some random nonsense up at the top. What you want at the top is a call to action to get people onto your mailing list. So in this case, the reader magnet offer is at the top. Okay, all the other stuff is underneath. If people want to read more about me, that's fine. But actually, I want them to sign up. So what I want goes at the top. The result of this is you end up with more people signed up to your email list who are visiting your site. So it's a little tweak, but your website theme needs to be able to support that really, along with the other things. And I'll show you what those are now. So let's go through them. So the landing page. So we've had a brief introduction to a landing page earlier. I'll show you one that's on my current site at the moment. But these are pages where you're giving away your reader magnet, your free gift, and giving them a mechanism to sign up. Main point here is, unlike the home page where I've got links to different books you can buy, the whole catalog, different things about me, lots of different links on here. A landing page has none of that on it at all. None of that. So here's an example of a landing page. And you'll see here, it's pretty much the same thing, but there's nothing else. There's some quotes and synopsis here, but there's no other links where people can go. So once they hit this page, there's nowhere else for them to go. So they either sign up here, enter their email address, or they leave. And that's what a landing page is. That's very, very important. Other examples, a simple one here, where there isn't even any extra info underneath. I'm trying to scroll down, and nothing is happening. Some other examples of home pages as well. Here's one from Libby Kirsch. So she's got her books up here. Again, call to action at the top. Looks very, very, very cool. But for landing pages, nothing else, just the offer. And that's going to set you up really, really well. All right, so let's jump back in here. So landing page is very important. The better your landing page, the more people are going to sign up. So it's important that you get it right. Free examples, you can use a WordPress plugin that installs into your site. Just be careful because a lot of them are terrible. MailChimp have some built-in landing pages that you can use as well. Some of them are better than others, but it does at least work. That's the main thing. They're better than nothing. So it's worth having a look at if you've got a tight budget. If you want to go down the premium route, something that's a bit easier, maybe looks a bit better in line with your branding, there's a service called Lead Pages where you can create a landing page and they'll host it for you, and then you just link to it. You can have a designer build one if you're feeling particularly excited. That can be expensive though. Or you can use like an optimized author theme that has that built in, like the one I just showed you. So I'll give you more on that in just a moment. Ebook delivery then. So the next one. We've done landing pages, but when someone signs up for your Reader Magnet, and you send them a welcome email, you need to give them a link where they can go download that book. So in the different file formats, Mobi, EPUB, and PDF. You need to give instructions on how to do this because it can be different depending on what they use. Okay, so a few options for this. The free one is, get your Mobi file, EPUB file, and PDF file, stick them in Google Drive, set up a download page on your website, get those Google Drive links, and put them on the download page, and then just include instructions, text instructions on how to do it. I did that for years, and it worked okay. You may end up getting a few support emails though, so be prepared. A paid option is a service like BookFunnel. I love those guys as well. They can do all that for you, so they can handle the support requests, and they can provide you with the instructions, which are like dynamically populated, and lots of other kind of options as well. They generate all those links for you, and you just send that one out. Pricing varies, but it's pretty inexpensive. Or you could use, again, a theme that has that built in. So I'll show you how that looks on mine. If I go back to the main page, here we go. Bear with me 1 second. Book delivery. Right. So when someone joins my mailing list, I send them to this page to download the book. So they come and they see the synopsis here, the cover, and then the download button. And when they click the button, all they need to do is choose their device, let's say a Kindle, and the instructions to download it and connect it up and read it are all included. Maybe they have a Nook that's got different instructions, or they just want the PDF. Lots of different options, and that's all dealt with inside my theme. So that's quite nice because I don't have to go fiddle around with a third-party service and try to make it look like the rest of my site, which is impossible because they never quite match. I'm not paying any kind of, S3 storage fees. I'm not fiddling with Google Drive. It's just a nice, slick kind of user experience. So I quite like that one as well. That's how I do it. So that's ebook delivery. So you are going to need some kind of method for doing this, and the options there are the free ways and the paid ways. So it shouldn't take you too long to get set up, whichever route you go down. Now, email autoresponder. So incredibly important part is you can't use Gmail or Hotmail or Outlook or whoever to do this. You need a database that's legally compliant to hold personal data and is able to send out automated emails, get statistics and all that lovely stuff. Now, if you're a beginner, I recommend MailChimp at MailChimp.com, as it's free for up to 2,000 subscribers. And it's, has landing pages built in. It does, simple autoresponders, and it's pretty much everything you need to get started. If you're looking for something a bit more sophisticated, maybe you want to set up some different funnels and have different segmentation and all that lovely stuff happening, I recommend ConvertKit, which is also fantastic as well. There are lots of other ones. There are cheaper ones and more expensive ones. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day who you use, as long as they can do what they need to do. So just pick one that you like and jump in, get that done as quickly as possible. Don't spend too long thinking about it, basically. And once you've set up the account, written your welcome email along with that download link, you just need to hook it up to your landing page. Okay, so that box that you click where someone enters their email address, that needs to be hooked up to your email autoresponder. And MailChimp or the others, whichever one you use, will give you a code snippet to use that will do that. Or if you're using a third-party page creator like Lead Pages or Instapage or something similar, just follow their instructions inside there, and they'll show you how to hook everything up. But that's how you connect them all together. Now, you also want your website to be able to professionally display your books in line with your brand. So this is a key thing as well, because if you've hired a designer, that's fine, they can worry about it. But if you're installed a WordPress theme, especially the free ones or the super cheap ones, this can look pretty awful. So you need a plugin to make this work. One you can use is Booktable, which does display your books. People have varying degrees of attractiveness with it, though, and you make sure that they're all there, that people can see them. Ideally, you can display them and filter them by genre and series as well, which brings us on to, I'll show you again on my site, and my recommendation, which is to use AuthorCats, which is, full disclosure, my software company. Shock horror. But I've been showing you examples from AuthorCats, and I'll show you a few more in just a second as well. Because dealing with email integration, landing pages, joint promotion pages, home pages, blog pages, all this different stuff that has to be optimized can take a very long time. And unless you're a design whiz already, can end up looking, at best, pretty mediocre. And the worst thing for me when I was doing all this was I ended up using a dozen different plugins and third-party services, and to make all this work, I had to then sort of get them to duct tape together, and they all looked different, the branding was inconsistent, and it always broke. So huge pain point for me. So this is why I really got behind developing this software, because it's everything that authors need for a website all in one place. Okay, goal is that you don't have to worry about technology. It all just works out of the box. No plugins needed, no code required. Just install it, customize it, and it's ready to go. And I'll show you a couple of quick examples as well. You've already seen the Leopold Blake site as well. And you had a quick peek at Libby's site here, made using AuthorCats. So again, having a look at the books, they look incredibly attractive here, nicely laid out. And you can click into them. As you'd expect, you've got the synopsis, places that you can buy the book here. And this is all done in a template behind the scenes, so you don't have to fiddle around with any of this yourself. So it's very cool. Different genres as well. We've got military science fiction, lots of different genres. We've got about 400 different people using different genres at the moment. It's huge. T.R. Cameron here, The Squad. I like this one. That's quite cool as well. So this is TR's launch team example here. So getting a review in exchange for an arc, you can join the squad, which is exactly what I'm recommending you do. Amy here as well, different genre, looks a different feel to the site. It's looking very cool. Books on here as well. People who may have dozens and dozens of books. One cool thing that we do is we allow you to filter by genre as well. So you can set different genres and series in here, and then just display the ones that you want to. So for example, just historical fiction. So for people who have like a large book catalog, this is a great way of doing it, because it filters them out and allows you to see different ones. And there's a ton more examples that you can see over at authorcats.com, along with a video walkthrough, some demos that you can play around with. So I'll show you a couple of these ones. So a light, a dark, and a bright version. And what we did to make life easier is these demos here. You can see how the site works and how it's all put together. But more importantly, you can actually install these. So if you like the look of, let's say, this one, you can get AuthorCats, sign up for a free trial, install this template, and then all you need to do is just change the pictures and the text, and you are ready to go. So we have those templates available to make life even easier for you. And you can see we've got call to action banners at the top where you can click and sign in there. Calls to action on the front page at the top, either a sales link there or an email list link there, and all the landing pages and promotions that you could want. So if you're running a joint promotion, instead of coding a page from scratch, this is already built for you. Just add the pictures and the links, and you're good to go. And there's a ton more stuff as well. I'll let you go look at it. authorcats.com. You can get a free trial and set everything up and have a play for free. And our support team will help you through everything. So if you need help setting anything up, they will help you do it, walk you through it. So for example, if you want to set up a staging site and install all of this stuff offline and then switch it over as soon as it's ready, so there's no downtime, our support team can help you with that. So they're all ready and waiting to help you out if you want to have a go with that free trial. So that's everything you need, all in one place. So to finish, there's a lot to take in. Hopefully the tech guide makes things a little bit easier for you as well. And then remember, you'll be able to download these slides, take them away, or the link should be in there. But if you've made it this far, do not panic. I know you've got it in you to get this set up. You're going to start seeing results nice and fast. Make sure you do download the slides and check out the extra resources to really get this set up, because the quicker you get it done, it's then done for life. And you only really need to tweak it from time to time, and it's going to be working hard for you in the background. And if you do want to give AuthorCats a go, free trial is ready and waiting for you when you are. So just a reminder, getting all this set up can have great results. So examples from Joanna Penn here, which I showed you earlier, Russell Blake, Abraham, and Justin, and that's just one of many examples of people who are getting some good results using this system too. So you definitely can, and I'm very confident that you can get this set up and working for you. But if you would like some more in-depth training on building all this up and making everything automated, you can register for one of our on-demand webinars, where I'll take you through a 3-step process for getting more traffic, turning that traffic into fans, and then how to sell to your fans without being sleazy. So those launch day emails, I'll show you what needs to go in them. I'll give you the principles behind email marketing and show you how to do it without feeling like you need a shower afterwards. It's all about being transparent and being honest and having a good reputation. And that's what I'm all about as well. So if you'd like to get some more details on the on-demand webinars, just click the link there, yourfirst10kreaders.com/author marketing webinar, and choose a time that suits you. And hopefully I will see you again soon. A huge thanks to Ally for having me on, and I've really enjoyed doing this session for you. Please do download the slides and check out the webinar at the link here, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.